Alright, hi guys, Jake here with another video. This time I thought I would show off or comment through a 19 the other side I did last week. So that's with Fortified, Volcanic, and Spiteful. Obviously, DOS is one of those keys that is a bit hit or miss with pugs, so getting a good run to show you guys took a while. A lot of my pugs fell apart before Hakar, but this one went the distance, so it's a good time to talk you through it and how I approach doing DOS on Fortified, as everyone hates those first 2 packs of the dungeon. I hate a few more packs, and I'll explain later as we get along which packs I don't like. So yeah, let's get into it. So obviously first pull, pretty standard by now from everyone. Pull everything and lust and pull it down. That is quite bad, especially for us. I would prefer it on the second pack because it's more magic damage, of course, and people to save CDs and stuff. But obviously that doesn't really happen in pugs, and you're not going to really bloodlust the second pack just because you don't have time, and you won't get it back for Hakar. So it's obviously just quite standard, stay in. I'm shaving shield wall here, obviously, for the second pack because we definitely want it there, or I want it there, and I tend to always try and save shield wall for it. So just finishing off the one here, obviously it's spiteful, so they don't target you unless the DPS dies, so you can just run in and help finish off those mobs. So second pack, horrible pack. There's a few tricks here that I'll try and talk through, and maybe after the pack's finished and sort of explain my thought process behind it. But obviously running through here, use my CDs, use shield wall, use spell reflect just to reduce the magic damage, because everything here pretty much does magic damage. Not using demo shout, so I probably could do that. Got trees from the druid, that's nice, so I can stay in a bit longer because we don't want to kite as much. So here you might be wondering what I'm doing with the stairs, and I'm doing it wrong. But what you can do, and what I do quite a lot, is I bait casts, or the shadow core casts, essentially. So they, essentially, they don't need to be interrupted, but they're not going to hit you. So you can bait them on the stairs. So you can stand at the top of the stairs, let the cast start, and then run down. And that will sort of stutter step the mob towards you as well. If it doesn't get interrupted, it will obviously, the moment you go out of line of sight, it will try and end its cast, and it won't hit you, so it will start moving towards you. So you run back to the top of the stairs, it'll start casting immediately if it hasn't been interrupted. So you can run back down the stairs, and you can kind of do that a few times. There's a leeway on the stairs, and there is a distance on them. If it's close to the top of the stairs, it'll probably still hit you. But if it's quite far away from the stairs, you can actually bait the casts, which is really nice, especially on high fortified keys. So here we got the Enraged Spirit. Unfortunately, the druid died at the end of the last pack, so just waiting a little bit to pull it, because he's our only Night Fae. And we definitely want that on a spirit if we can have it. So just here, just making sure there's space for the melee to stand, or rogue and paladin. Get some of the rages off, but no one dies, so that's alright. We'll just go on and kill this mob. So wrap the pack into Prideful, pretty standard. Obviously these guys give you the disease. It's not a very nice disease, so shield wall, and then just try and kill them as fast as possible. So trees again, that's really helpful. Gives you time to charge weave and stuff like that, which is lovely. Always make sure if you have a druid. So I do in pugs, I don't have a macro to tell people when to trees. I just usually say to the boomkin, look, just trees on cooldown, because I can see it. I have Omni CD. I can see their cooldown on trees, so I can plan my CDs around them popping trees on cooldown. And it's really helpful just to have them on cooldown, to be honest. because then you just don't need to worry that much, or worry as much as if you have to, like, tell them with a macro. So yep, pretty standard prideful stuff. Intervene, spell reflecting when it's at high stacks. Going into these two, I don't know what they're called, two big guys that enrage, that people are quite scared of. Warlords, there we go. People are quite scared of when they enrage. Don't be. I mean, they're physical damage. You have block. I mean, they both enrage here and stand still. The treants are slowly dying, but one's still enraged and I'm still tanking them, and my health is barely moving with one enrage and one not, so you really don't need to be that scared. I tried to leap out to charge weave there, but failed because I didn't leap far enough, so it's my bad. Not kiting here, just slowly pulling back just so we're slightly closer to the next bit, the run back, so we don't waste more time, but blocked off by the spin. So they're both low, so intervene to people far away and we can start running. Don't know how this lives on 1 health for a while. It's got deep wounds and everything, but sure. As I said at the start, the first few packs are pretty hard, and there's some more packs that are pretty hard. I'd say this corridor is pretty horrible, mainly just due to the, on high fortified, mainly due to the Bladestorm mobs and the bleed they give you. This is like the highest DOS key I've done on fortified, and that bleed was really surprising me how much it hurt. To be honest, I wasn't expecting that sort of damage to come out, but you might say, oh, it was a 19 fortified. Yeah, but I wasn't expecting the bleed to do that much damage. So yeah, I probably could play this corridor better, so I'll watch to see what I can do to sort of improve. So yeah, just finishing off these two caster mobs. Obviously, we got a favorable patrol there because you don't want to pull this. You don't want this Hexa to come in at the end of the pack, and I wouldn't suggest you want to have the Hexa at the end of the pull because you have to kill it on its own, which just wastes time. So I got 3 stacks of the bleed already, and you can see my health is, it's not healthy. And instantly back to 2 when they stop bladestorming. Just trying to watch out. So I'm at 6, and I got a sack from Paladin, and I used my pot. So overlapping CDs probably could have avoided that and saved my pot for later. Not dying to it, it's fine. So here's a good example of what I was talking about earlier with the Shadow Balls cast and the stairs. I'm doing it with Smite and the Priest here. He finally got interrupted and low enough to run away, but just lossing on that pillar, letting him start cast and then go back behind. He's not going to do anything, and he's not going to cast on anyone else because I'm his target, but he's not going to be able to finish his cast on me. So you can pop back out, start the cast again. Nice and easy. So I already know I'm low on pots, and I didn't let the cooldown of it reset, which is kind of bad, or start ticking down. Could have waited an extra second or so there. So yeah, just make sure these mobs don't transform because no one wants the hacker mobs in this corridor. So I always try and get people to stand behind this pillar because you can actually activate that urn through round the pillar if you have your camera turned. You can just click it while stood behind the pillar, which is really useful, but a lot of people use the first one, and pugs be pugs, so some of them stay out to put dots up and stuff, so it spreads out the casters, which is kind of a bit annoying. So there we got people out taking their time, and we got a lightning discharge because people weren't in position. So I got treants down and I got hex there, but we're just doing the urn now. So urn gets popped. They're a little bit more spread out than I'd like to be. Maybe I should have said before going in this corridor, like, look, stack at green when I'm pulling the mobs back or something, but it's in AoE range for everyone, so I'm not going to complain too much. Stopping the cars here. Obviously there's 2 Bladestorm mobs, so the bleed's back again, and I have nothing left in this corridor. At the end of this corridor, obviously I probably could have let my potion start ticking down. It'd be not close to, but it'll be finishing at some point. So, you know, things I can still improve on. Just coming into the end of the pool here. Yeah, that's fine. Thought I'd just run through Bladestorm then, but he was preparing to Bladestorm, so it's alright. Try and get slightly closer to the boss room, because we don't want to waste too much time. Not charging to the manifestation for the block up time. Pretty bad. But it's okay. So obviously standard prival stuff before the boss. Save your CDs, especially as it's Hakkar. You want to just burn the boss as fast as possible. Ignore the ads if you can, even though they do go towards the blood barrier absorb shield. If you can kill it fast enough, it doesn't really matter, and you can just completely blitz the boss, which we do. So, failed leap here. Could do better. So, obviously here you can spell reflect piercing bard. Not much else you can do on this fight. I tend to use scale and stuff on higher keys to absorb boss mechanics. So obviously I still have spell reflect ready for the second one when there's more stuff going on. Because obviously at the start of a pull there's not much stuff going on, and you know you've usually got bloodlust and things, and you know it's pretty easy just to defensive or not defensive at all. So shield wall at third, and yeah, boss is dead at this point. Absolutely blew it up with Ashen Hollow and everything, so good clean boss fight. And I'm thinking, oh, this key's going pretty well at this point, because during this week I think I tried the other side 4 or 5 times, and this was the only one that got past Hakkar. So yeah, shows you how volatile this key is. Usually failed in the hallway before. So yeah. So worst bit of DOS is the runbacks. They should just add skips in my opinion. It'll definitely help with how close the keys are sometimes, but obviously that's probably what they want. But you really do just waste time doing this, which is really irritating. So on to the next quarter, or third. The Mechagon place. I find this one okay. I already said at the start I don't like the boss. I really don't like Millie and Millhouse, mainly because I'm bad at clicking the bombs. So you guys get to see how bad I am later on, or in a bit. But there's not really like any fancy big pulls you can do here or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. I don't like these single like mini boss mobs. They're a bit boring, and you know, well, just have to deal with it one at a time, because they're too dangerous otherwise. Especially unfortified, like the Haywire will just like pretty much one-shot people, I'm pretty sure. And stuff. I know you can hide behind that pipe, but you want some distance so you can charge. Get that revenge proc, get that block time for when at the end of the Haywire cast. So back in we go. Just finish off the mob. I'm going to commit at this point, so if it starts casting Haywire again, in my mind I'm already like, I'm just going to stay in because I want to. So here I thought this group was pretty good. I saw the Druid CA is about to come off, which means he has damage, so I went for a slightly bigger pool than I usually am, and decided to play a little bit riskier here, just to save like a little bit of time. Like obviously the spinners, like they do a lot of magic damage with discharge and the spin obviously. But you know, this group's already proved they're pretty good. Well, they're good, and you know, we had CDs up for this pack and stuff, so let's do it. So I had to use a pot there, keep myself up, just slowly kiting away from the smallies for the spin to try and save the melee and stuff, and obviously they're dying, so the spitefalls are spawning, but we still got this big mob up, so we want to try and stay away from that sort of stuff that's going to hurt the melee, and they can continue just DPSing this down. So I type it here because the druid's Night Fae, and I noticed he didn't do it, but if you're Night Fae, you can blink the stun from the dog, apparently. I think you can anyway. I'm pretty sure you can. So if you have it, apparently if you blink, it just sort of, you don't get stunned, which is awesome. So here I get screwed over by my camera. It's lovely. Threw a spear into a pipe behind me. So just play it out and leap out of these. So I prefer to tank this in a different spot, but in pugs it never really works. I prefer to tank it in the pipe, so your range can stand at like the other end of this pipe, and you can tank it like just inside this pipe so the melee can run around the other end. But in terms of pugs, it doesn't really work. They just expect you to tank it here on the other side of the tunnel, so yeah, don't try to do that unless you tell them you're going to do that. Lucky rogue with cloak and just stand in that. So yeah, keep going on. Obviously we've got lubricators next, and you know, we've got rogue, sure, and me, short cooldowns. Rogue can stun a bit, but I really hate taking the lubricators 2 at a time, especially when you start getting into higher fortifieds. Like if you don't get every lubricate and you don't get a self-healing cycle, you can really waste a lot of time and take a lot of damage. So like, look, if we get a lubricate off, just watch everyone's health just drop quite a lot, and if there's 2 of them and 2 of them go off, you're suddenly in trouble. And you know, we've just done that big pull with the dog, so I opted just to go a little bit cautiously here. Just do 1 at a time. Because we've still got a lot of time left, and dungeon's going pretty well, so we can just take our time. As I said, we did a pull earlier where I would have usually separated it, but did it in 1 pull, so make it nice and easy. Luckily we had a stun for that, so nice and easy. Not trying to rush anything. Seen it recently pugging on my elemental shaman. Tanks in 14s and 15s, you know, they try and rush and they pull too much, and you know, the groups aren't good enough to you know, react or you know, keep up with stuff. So even in 19s where people and players are probably used to dungeons and stuff, and you know, double pulls and things, always err on the side of caution, because I mean, they should follow what you're doing. You're the tank. They expect you to pull to complete the dungeon. Obviously some pugs expect you to pull, so you like 2 chests or whatever, but no, your job is just to finish the key in time. So just pull to focus on that and make your decisions off that. So yeah, I did a big pull and I did safe pulls just to make sure that we didn't waste time on missing interrupts for healing and taking too much damage. So these oils, obviously, we Ashen Hollowed these. Good choice by the Paladin in my opinion, because he's absolutely wreck on Fortified. As you see, he gets hit by 2 and nearly, it's like 2/3 of his health. So yeah, good choice by the Paladin. Absolutely nuke that. At least use some CDs on there. So into Prideful before the boss. I hate this boss, keep saying. I just don't like it. I don't like the design. I'm bad at clicking bombs, so yeah. This is my probably my most hated fight in all of BFA in Shadowland Dungeons, and also a reason why I don't run the other side on Tyrannical weeks, because I really fucking hate it. But apart from that, I've not got much else to say about this boss, you know. You just got to play it correctly. Make sure your team stuns the bosses. Make sure you put the boss or keep the boss in the stun. You know, make sure you use your cooldowns at the right time. Don't bloodlust and wreck Millhouse and then not have him to be able to stop Millie doing stuff. So yeah, just onto the boss. Nice and easy. Power Crystal. I always try and if like a DPS needs a replacer, or you know there's like a spare or an extra one or whatever, I will try and take them, but covered by the DPS. Unfortunately, the Druid, I think, stood in the stun there, but he didn't die. We have a few. I think we have a few knocks from the stun, which nearly kills. So in Tyrannical, this would have probably been a wipe because we would have lost people to stuns. But yeah, I'm usually hit by the stun because I don't like it. So yeah, just moving into the Power Crystal. Druid move out, but Rogue moved in behind me, so, and then Rogue got hit by stun. So onto Millie here. Obviously, she's got horrible bleed from Buzzsaw, but you know, if you have cooldowns, and you can Kyrian file it off. So obviously I've last standard this stack. I have demo shouted the next ones. I'm just trying to rotate through my CDs here, just to survive essentially. So none here because that was only 5. It didn't go as high. The mage said he screwed up Bloodlust, so you know, he did it 1 early or whatever, a few seconds early. So luckily I have budget lust and just use 1 of them. So we go pretty low, got sack and shield wall. Probably that was a waste of shield wall as she phased. I noticed a bomb no one had clicked, so grab that. As you noticed, if you noticed, I did no bombs apart from that one. I'm not good at clicking them when they come down. I don't know why. I spam click, never hit them. So yeah, just burning the boss now. Pretty standard now at this point. Just do mechanics and survive. This is the horrible bit though. Like obviously I've used all my cooldowns to survive the prior buzzsaws. So now I'm basically just relying on my healer. I mean I have scale coming off now, but which I did use. Must have used it for the last stacks. Fair enough. Probably a waste though as the boss was dying, but we've got a run ahead of us, so it'll be near enough back on cooldown for the pull we want. So we've got one more horrible-ish pack here, just before you go upstairs to the Ardenweald area, with the casts and stuff, but obviously there's that urn there, and the only problem is grouping it up, which I still haven't got a reliable way of grouping it up, honestly. So yeah, unfortunately here we had a bad patrol path, so we have to kind of wait because this cultist is actually quite close to the stairs, and we probably could have run around the spirit to the left and done the big pull, come back for the spirit, but you know, it's better to wait. We have time. Like, we had 2 deaths at the start, so we didn't lose much time, etc. Like, we might as well just play it safe, as I said. Wait for the rage to be, you know, in a suitable place to pull it. So we get the mask carts at the top of the stairs, but obviously we're all stood here, so fear them away. You overlap with blinding light, but that's okay as long as we clear it. So rage here. Use demo shout to mitigate that one, and I've still got spell reflect for the second one if we get it, because we just want to reduce the damage as much as we can, but I don't really want to use last stand or shield wall because obviously the next pull's coming, which is pretty horrible, which obviously you also probably want spell reflect for because it's shadow course, but obviously you're going to stun them, so I've got time to get spell reflect back. So just waiting a sec here, waiting for people to catch up, get some aggro. Can't actually loss on this corner, I've tried before. That's grouped up enough for me. so I'm going to call that a good job because I'm biased. Obviously, Death Speaker and stuff, a lot of casters, and I'm here. I know I've got Spell Reflect back up. I know I've got Interrupt, so Spell Reflect, but the Shadow Core got interrupted, but that's fine. I managed to Spell Reflect another Scribe one. Treants are down at the moment, so I can stay in. I know Treants are about to die soon, so go back to my stair mechanic, but he doesn't seem to want to cast Shadow Core on me. So there we go, get a Shadow Core cast, but I'm a bit too slow on the running, so I still get hit. I got Spell Reflect and Interrupt back up, so I just run back in because I know I'm pretty much sorted out until the end, and then it doesn't decide to cast Shadow Core again. It decides to do the knockback. So, going into the Ardenweald area here, probably the best area for us, and my favourite room in the entirety of Shadowlands Dungeon, so has my least favourite boss and my favourite room, just purely because it's literally 99% physical damage, and you can just mass pull everything. I'm room for the day where I can mass pull the entire thing on top of an urn and see what happens, but not going to do that on a 19. So yeah, just make sure we don't get hit by the spirits. Obviously the paladin's behind, so just need to wait for him before we do this pull. So these are my standard pulls in here that I do pretty much every week, including necrotic weeks, yes. I will usually pull these ones together. So, we've got Treants down, so I've got time to DPS. And here you obviously can't stand still, because there's these things that spawn on the ground all the time, so slowly rotate. Keep the mobs as still as possible. Trying to get some distance just to charge weave here, but didn't do it great, but that's okay. There we go. Leap charge weave. So first pack done. We're getting into second, which will be a double pull. That'll spawn Prideful, and then a big pull into Urn, and then another big pull, and then a smaller one, and then another one to get Prideful. So, luckily, we have a preferable patrol because they're heading this way. So, just pull the stags, and then get these down, get Prideful. Not really much to say about this room. Make sure you have shield block up if you can, and move slowly out of the circles on the ground, because they'll hurt and they'll silence you. So yeah, didn't move, got silenced. But got far enough away just to charge back. So got Spiteful here, just trying to help DPS them down. I know we're going to get one when the Prideful spawns, pretty much at full health, but it's only one Prideful. Druid just roots it. By the time it gets broken, it's already dying, so pretty easy, pretty nice. So onto the big pull here. After this, I could pull, I think it's 1 or 2 extra cranes, so I don't have to pull a pack later, but it saves less than a minute. So, and I don't particularly like doing the extra crane stuff. I like doing the pull I do later, and I'll explain why. So just pull every crane here. DPS obviously have gone ahead to the urn, which I don't like. So the mage went too far and pulled the invis guys that I would and died. Strange though. I believe I try and res and it won't let me. Yeah, doesn't let me. Oh, is it on cooldown? It is on cooldown. Okay, I didn't notice that. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense now. But that's okay. I mean, they're all stunned. This pull doesn't actually particularly hurt that much. Is it not cooldown? Just managed to res. Okay, I don't know why I was managed to res there. It's okay though. Or maybe my res is on cooldown. So yeah, just kite this out. Obviously, these things don't actually hurt that much, even at a lot of stacks. It's just physical damage. You just have block up and you're gonna survive. So, just holding Avatar here because I know I've got a reasonably big pull. Unfortunately, the mage dies again to Spiteful. But it's okay. Mobs are dying. We just need to wait for the Spitefuls to die and we can res. And Spitefuls don't take long. So I'm not sure why I'm bopped here. Maybe to clear stacks probably. Yeah, checking death. I'm not sure why we combat res there. But, well, maybe that was a normal res. Probably a normal res. So here obviously you can pull this matriarch as well to get percent, but I don't like pulling the matriarch. So all you have to do to not pull the matriarch is pull all that, and you make sure this hatchling gets stunned and stuff, so and dies before it does the cry. So Paladin hodged. Little mistake by me there. I thought Shockwave was off, but it wasn't. So I was saved by the Paladin, as I'm sure I was saved many times by the Paladin in this dungeon. But not too much of an issue. If we pull the matriarch, we pull the matriarch. It just stops us. We just don't pull the invis pack downstairs because we'll get prideful after the next pull. So notice my health was getting low, so just shield wall, just give the healer some time because I'm not going to need it until probably last boss or maybe the next boss, but I'll have it back for the next boss. So pull these 5. Make sure we're not pulling the matriarch or anything. So I leaped all the way down the wall. Yeah, not much to say really. Kill this pack. So yeah, why don't I pull the extra cranes earlier? So pulling the extra cranes earlier is fine, and you'll get prideful after these 5. But number 1, this straight into pride. These like 3 big pulls, straight into prideful, straight into boss. People can end up using cooldowns when they don't want to and things, or you might just not have enough stuff back. So I tend to like to do this, and then we have a breather of a small pack, which is here. It's these invis guys. So we have a breather of this small pack here, which just gives people time, to be like, oh, the boss is coming up. Think about the boss, think what's going on. Just cool down a bit after some pretty big pulls we've just done. So yeah, this is why I tend to prefer to do this. It's slightly slower, obviously. We've wasted about 30 seconds killing these 3 when we could have just spawned private with the last pack, but I think 30 seconds of cooldowns, better, and it's let the mage get his frozen orb back to 30 seconds cooldown, which is around about the time prideful takes. Well, prideful will probably take a bit longer. So it's also giving the mage time to get his frozen orb back for the boss, which is nice. So 9 minutes and 2 bosses basically to go. So pretty confident thinking this key's going pretty well. So this boss, horrible in pugs. No one wants to take arc lightning off anyone. I don't even try. Just hope and pray we kill it fast. But this group's absolute huge damage, so I know it's going to be okay because we got Lust and Rival and CDs. But if it goes on for too long, you need to start, running around trying to spread the arc lightning around if you've got it. So here, this mechanic, I kind of like it. We can spell reflect this, so the one where everyone has to go up. You can just stand and spell reflect it, and you don't take any damage. It's great. High tyrannical keys, high everything keys. So it also helps because there'll be an extra thing around in case someone accidentally runs into one, which I've seen quite a lot. People accidentally running into them. So yeah, helps a lot just to save your spell reflect for that point. There's not much else magical damage going on. So on to the last boss. There's an argument here. I've been told in Pugs that for the 3-hit combo he does, you should stand in and use spell reflect to stop that, so he doesn't do his AoE when people aren't in range, but he doesn't do it anyway during that 3-hit combo, so you can run out anyway and save spell reflect for Soul Crusher, because that's way more important and way more useful, especially on tyrannical keys. So Soul Crusher is it's not a tricky mechanic, but if you don't know how it works, you might be thrown off by it. So it's a 2-part attack mechanic. The first bit is physical, and then the dot is damage based off how much damage you took from the first physical hit. So obviously you can spell reflect the dot, and you don't need to worry about mitigation. So there, spell reflected it. But you can also reduce the damage of the dot to nothing by using cooldowns and blocking it, which you'll see me do. I think it's next or one after. I know it's so yeah. Soul Crusher's coming up. I've used shield block. I've used scale, and as you can see, my health is barely moving because I took no physical damage from the boss, basically. So yeah, it's good to know that, really, especially for tyrannical weeks. You want to mitigate the first hit physically, and then or spell reflect it. Don't use it during Master of Death. That's the 3-hit mechanic I'm talking about. So you can stand in close. Use it on Soul Crusher. So obviously, I didn't use anything for that one, so that's bad. And I was about to say, obviously save my cooldowns for the burn phase, or the burn the ad, which is definitely what you want to do. I probably could have used them. Yeah, I could have, because it's over a minute into the fight. So yeah, I could have used it at pull, but I tend to not to, because obviously your damage on him matters. On fortified, it doesn't matter as much as tyrannical. But yeah, something I can definitely do is actually use Avatar and Ravager and stuff on him. So obviously I know what platform he's going to, so I can just run there. You can still see there's a totem up in the background at this point. I was like, we still got 5 minutes, so we can just go and do that totem anyway and still finish the key, but nice to get them all done in one, especially on a fortified week. They should be pretty easy. So yeah, we got all 4 nicely, and we're just coming to the end of the boss fight. So obviously Soul Crusher comes in after this. I use Spell Reflect way too early, so I use Shield Wall instead, and then he decides not to cast it for ages. So yeah, I took that with pretty much nothing up as well again. And Master of Death, so I can get back in. I don't know why I'm still holding on to Avatar. Maybe I use it after here. I'll see. Yeah, there we go. So use it, but took another Soul Crusher when I had Spell Reflect up. Could have stopped that. And I used Spell Reflect too late on that one. So yeah, a lot of things I can improve on this dungeon, which is good. But obviously it's nice to get keys done in time, especially 19 the other sides. So yeah, not the greatest run. Some things obviously I can improve on, but yeah, not too bad. So thanks for watching if you made it this far.